Well, back when me and old Lem was in the 8th grade, Lem was walking to school one of them mornings, and it was hot now. It's one of them days when it's about 102 degrees at 8 o'clock as Lem was making his way across town. He come by the Civil War Memorial Park. Now, those of y'all know the town I grew up in. It ain't called the Civil War Memorial Park no more. It's called Tolerance Plaza. Anyway, old Lem was coming. Well, I guess I ought to go back and I need to hang that duck story on the nail for just a minute, if you don't mind. Because, you see, I imagine you're wondering, well, how in the world did Lem Parsons end up in the same grade as you? Now, we's the same age, but I told you this before. Lem didn't keep up real well with his grades, and he's always at least one or two, if not many more, grades behind. Well, this year that I'm telling you about, old Lem was in the 4th grade. Now, Miss Ackworth she's a 4th grade teacher. Now, Miss Ackworth was about as pretty as 3 weeks of bad weather. She looked like the south end of a north-facing goat. But Miss Ackworth liked to go outside and play kickball, so all the youngins really liked her. I reckon it's probably because she liked to smoke them old nasty cigars. They wouldn't let her do it in the classroom no more, so she took the kids outside about 4 or 5 times a day to play recess. So, one day, old Lem lined up out there at the home plate. Miss Ackworth rolled in the ball, and Lem hauled off with that heavy leg of his and drilled Miss Ackworth right in the face. Broke her nose, blood come out everywhere, she fell out on the ground. Well, all the children run up there in a circle around her, and they seen that blood running everywhere. 2 of them passed out. 4 or 5 of them run in the schoolhouse to get help, and a couple of them went running home. They ran home, told their mamas, Lem Parsons killed Miss Ackworth. Lem Parsons killed Miss Ackworth. Well, the next day, to the delight of many of the young gentlemen in the 4th grade, the school had hired Miss Natalie Wrigley to be the substitute for the 4th grade classroom until Miss Ackworth got out of the hospital. She told them all, now, if y'all get your schoolwork done, we'll go outside and play a game. So they all did the work. Now, see, Miss Natalie Wrigley was a whole lot better looking than old Miss Ackworth. Them 4th grade boys would do just about anything they could to make her happy. Well, anyway, they got outside, and she said, y'all want to play kickball? One of the little boys said, Miss Ackworth, we ain't allowed to play kickball no more. She said, all right, well, how about we play Red Rover? Well, they was all on board for that. So they lined up 2 lines at each end of that little schoolyard there. Well, it come down to Lem Parsons. He's the last one that got called. Everybody else was on the other side of the line but him. The students all called out very reluctantly, Red Rover, send Lem Parsons right over. Well, old Lem took off across there and got him a good head of steam up. Now, I'm prone to believe that old Lem Parsons was probably just as sweet on Miss Natalie Wrigley as any of them boys was, especially since he's 13 years old, starting to feel some of them grown-up feelings. So he aimed to run through the line right between Miss Natalie Wrigley and one of them other little youngins. Happened to be a little girl about half Lem's size, holding hands with Miss Wrigley. Well, he plowed right through that line between Miss Wrigley and that poor little girl. And that poor little girl had little tiny arms, little tiny hands, but she had a good grip and she didn't let go real quick. It snapped both the bones in her wrist. Well, she went to wailing and screaming. Miss Natalie Wrigley scooped her up and run her in the schoolhouse real quick. dropped her off in the nurse's office. She came running back out. She said, "All right, children, let's get back in the schoolhouse now." Well, in the excitement of the whole thing, Miss Natalie Wrigley failed to realize that when Lem Parsons run into her and that poor little girl with the broken arm, well, it yanked Miss Wrigley's arm clean out of socket. Well, about the time they got back to the steps to the schoolhouse, she became aware of just how bad she was hurt too. Well, she got a little lightheaded and tripped going up them stairs, fell, hit her head on the handrail, and knocked her clean out. Well, the little children went running every direction. Some of them went in to get the nurse. A couple of them seen that blood coming off her forehead. They passed out right there on the steps too. And them two youngins that went running home the day before went running home again. Lem Parsons killed another teacher. Well, the principal got the school board together that night, and they had a special call board meeting. And they bumped old Lem Parsons all the way up to the 8th grade. And that's the quickest Lem Parsons ever progressed through any grades when he's in school. I'll come back and tell you about his duck later.